Let's talk about NBA betting picks for Tuesday. Guys, I know it's been a little hit or miss with the uploads lately, but I am hereby making it an official goal of mine to put out some betting picks every single day until the end of the NBA season, when we have games, of course. So we might not have some during the All-Star break, but you know what I'm saying. Every time there's a game on, we're going to try to get a video out. Now, lately, I've only been betting one game per day, and it's actually been, it's been paying off. Things have been going really well. I'll put some stats up right here. You can see it's been a really good start to the month of February, but I also understand that one pick per day isn't necessarily, it doesn't provide the most entertainment value. I put out a couple of those individual game previews earlier. They didn't go over the best. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm just going to pick an undefined amount of games every day. A day like today, we got 3 betting picks for you all. Sometimes it might be 5, 6, 7. Sometimes it might just be 1 or 2. We're just going to try to find where we can get the strongest leans, and I'm going to come out and share those picks with you. But guys, before we jump into the rest of the video, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Like I said, this is day 1 of a who knows how long streak, but we're going to try to run this thing off all the way up until the NBA season concludes. And then, of course, we've got baseball as well, and we're just going to roll it right on over into that. March Madness sprinkled in there as well. There's a lot coming to the channel. So there we go. And without further ado, let's talk about these games. So my first pick of the day is going to be the Miami Heat on the road plus 8.5 against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, the Bucks won back-to-back games for the first time in the Doc Rivers era. They cemented that yesterday. On Monday, they beat the Denver Nuggets 113-95. Now, it's always impressive to beat the Nuggets. There's no doubt about that. But Denver really is not a good road team. They've been quite disappointing on the road, as a matter of fact. They're lucky. Oh, maybe not lucky, but they do a good job making their home their fortress, but they don't play well on the road. So, you'll take the win if you're Milwaukee because you're still only 3-5 with Doc Rivers, but it's not convincing me that you've completely turned the corner. That said, the Heat are pretty injured. Terry Rozier is going to be out. Jimmy Butler's out. Josh Richardson and Duncan Robinson is questionable. This team has a lot of offensive problems. They're in the bottom 10 in offensive rating for the season and over the last 15 games. Their three-point shooting, which was red hot to start the year, has gone by the wayside. They're down to, I think, 33.5% over their last 15 games. Milwaukee, meanwhile, over 37%. But with that all being said, Miami is really, really good on defense. They're top 5 in defensive rating over the last 5 games, and they have the second best defensive rating on the road in the entire NBA. So that's how they've been able to hang around in games a lot of this. Now, the real question is, because Milwaukee should win this game, the real question is, can they cover the 8.5 points? The trends would tell you most likely not. I mean, Dame Lillard scores more points at home, but he hasn't been great with Doc, just over 22 points per game on 33% three-point shooting. The Bucks are 2-0 against the Heat this season. One of those wins by 7 points, one of them by 8, and Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler did not play in one of those games. Looking at the trends that I was mentioning, though, the Bucks, although they are 5-4 against the spread on the second night of back-to-backs, they're 9-11 against the spread immediately after covers, and 6-16 against the spread over their last 22 games. So they have not been good at all. And they're also 3-8 against the spread when they're favored by at least 8.5 points. So they don't have a large track record of success in this sort of context. For me, like I said, I think the Bucks are going to win this game, but it's going to be about, can Miami buckle down? Can they anchor down? Can they, use Bam Adebayo and some of those wings, slow down Giannis as he charges the lane, force him to make his teammates beat you? And if that's the case, you're going to be able to live with that, and I think the Heat can keep this one pretty close in a low-scoring game. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Heat plus 8.5 for my first pick. My second pick is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder, minus 2.5 on the road against the Orlando Magic. Now, this one is probably the toughest of the lot because Orlando's been really good as a home underdog, really, really good, over 60% against the spread. They've been really solid in home in general. I think they've got an average point differential above 6 points in their building. But Oklahoma City is one of the best road teams in the league, not to the same degree as far as point differential as Orlando is at home. But then again, the Thunder did beat the Magic by 12 points earlier this season. I know that game was in OKC, but we've seen them against this opponent before, and they're able to cause a lot of problems for them. Now, Orlando, kind of like Miami, a defensive-minded team. They're good on the boards. They want to keep the score low, although they can score the ball a little bit more. But when I look at this Thunder team, I look at the fact that they're second in the Western Conference, only one game out of first place. This is an opportunity for them to claw back up. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, although his scoring is down to 29 points per game in February, he's still shooting above 50% from the field and better than 60% from three. So you look at the efficiency with which he's been scoring the ball, thinking about the fact that OKC has one of the 3 best bench units in the NBA as far as bench net rating goes, and they've got size and interchangeability that can almost counter the length that the Magic have. You know, a lot of the times Orlando can overwhelm you with Banchero and Wagner and Batadze and Isaac and all these long guys that they can just put out there. But when you've got athletes like OKC that don't necessarily, you know, they don't have to go be in the post and clog things up. They can spread you out 5 out and they can just all drive mismatches, or they can drive closeouts, all that good stuff. I think OKC stylistically just has a very good chance here. So I'm going to take the Thunder -2.5 for my second pick of the day. And then my third and final pick for Tuesday in the return of the NBA betting picks. This one's a doozy. I like the Detroit Pistons at plus 11.5 against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, LA has kind of, I don't know if I should say turned its season around, because at one point they did win the in-season tournament, and a lot of people still think they're going to be very dangerous when the playoffs roll around. But they reversed their bad form as of late. You know, you've seen D'Angelo Russell become a 25-point per game scorer over the last month or so. And you've seen Austin Reeves give big contributions. Spencer Dinwiddie could be making his Lakers debut tonight, and he might provide a little more scoring for them. LeBron and Anthony Davis doing their usual thing. The team's looking good for the most part. They're getting results, but they aren't dominating, and a lot of that is because they've almost abandoned their defensive identity. They're 21st in defensive rating over the last 15 games. 18th in defensive rating over the last 15 games. And you've seen that while Anthony Davis can command the paint, their perimeter defense is just abhorrent at times. You know, D'Lo, Reeves, sometimes they try, Reeves more so than Russell, but Taurean Prince, you know, coming off the bench now, Cam Reddish not being available, Gabe Vincent really not playing all this season. You're seeing the effects of that with their perimeter defense. And so I look at this Pistons team, and, you know, even though they've still only won 8 games for the season, this is the best they've looked all year. Jaden Ivey's come alive as of late. Cade Cunningham's still doing his thing, giving you 22 points per game. And this team, you know, they can cause problems for the Lakers. I mean, Detroit, quiet as kept, they've covered in 12 of their last 14 games, and they've covered in 8 straight games where they've been double-digit underdogs. The Lakers are not a good team when it comes to blowing opponents out, and they also very frequently play down to the level of their opponent. So I think you could see the Pistons come in here, maybe even grab a halftime lead, something like that, and they're able to walk out of here with the cover. Again, just like the Bucks Heat game, the Lakers should win this game. There's no reason they shouldn't, but can they win by 12 or more points? I think they might struggle to do that. So my third pick, I like the Pistons at plus 11.5 against the Lakers. Feels weird, but it feels good to be back giving out the picks again. You know, let me know in the comment section. Do you want me to just give you an undefined number of games, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is? Or should we return to something like the pick 5, win 5, where we have a set amount of games and picks that we're going to give out every day? In my mind, a day like Super Bowl Sunday, where there were only 2 games, you know, that's where it could get tricky if we're trying to stretch to 5 picks. Because I'll admit right now, I'm not a great prop better in basketball. You know, I can try to give some props, but I don't always know if that would lead to long-term financial success. But anyway, jump in the comment section. Let me know what you want to see on the channel. Let me know what your favorite picks of the day are, and I'll catch you all in the next one.